Right, hello guys, DJ Bagpuss here and welcome back to Analysing Arsenal, and this is my match preview of the game in the Premier League at Old Trafford as Manchester United host Arsenal in a heavyweight clash in the Premier League. Now I don't normally do previews, but I will reveal at the end of the video why I'm doing a preview to this game, but you guys are here for the preview, so let's jump straight in to the match preview. And this is a very interesting game, and it always is interesting when Manchester United and Arsenal lock horns, and the timing of this game has been so bad for Arsenal, really, because let's be fair, Arsenal's Premier League season is done. You know, we've got really nothing to play for, apart from, you could say, potentially looking to finish above Burnley. But, you know, if we beat Manchester United tomorrow, then, because Burnley have got like 2 games left, and they will finish on the same amount of points that we've got with 3 games left to play. So a win tomorrow almost confirms that Arsenal will finish above Burnley. And even if we don't finish above Burnley, then, and I'll come to this later on in the preview, you know, it's not really a big deal, and it's not really going to change the outcome of our season. You know, we're putting all our eggs into the Europa League basket, and we've got a crucial, you know, make or break moment, and probably one of the biggest games in Arsene Wenger's career to finish his Arsenal career with a potential trophy. We have got to put everything into Thursday night's encounter away at Atletico Madrid. So this Manchester United game has come at the worst possible timing. However, and I do say however, there is a lot of sentimental value going into this game. You know, if you take away the Premier League context and looking to get 3 points, you know, take away just looking to get 3 points, there is so much sentimental things that are going into this game. You know, this is the last time that Arsene Wenger visits Old Trafford. You've then got the final match between Arsene Wenger and Jose Mourinho, and you've also got Alexis Sanchez's return to face Arsenal for the first time since leaving them in January to join Manchester United. You know, those 3 things combined the fact that it's at Old Trafford, you know, that on its own makes it a big game. The fact that we're not really playing for anything, and neither is Manchester United. You know, they've already basically secured Champions League football. It's almost like a friendly, but there is so much more that goes into this game. And that's why I said the sentimental value is at the forefront rather than getting Premier League points, in my eyes, really. But, you know, Arsenal-Manchester United is an historic game. You know, it's between 2 fierce rivals. And if you go right the way back to when Arsene Wenger joined Arsenal, it was Arsenal-Manchester United. You know, those were the 2 sides that went for the Premier League title season after season. And these were the heavyweight clashes that were just, they were so fierce and they were so fiery, and they were just, you know, they were as big as like Champions League finals. You know, they were absolutely mega. And over the years, we've been treated to a collection of phenomenal moments and less phenomenal moments, you know, particularly if you're an Arsenal fan, you know, going to Old Trafford, particularly in the later years. But, you know, seeing what we've seen, the Theatre of Dreams has given us moments of, you know, title clinchers, title deciders, you know, controversial moments. You think of, you know, Patrick Vieira, Roy Keane in the tunnel. You think of the Ruud van Nistelrooy, Martin Keown moment where Martin Keown like almost jumped over and tried to headbutt Ruud van Nistelrooy after missing a penalty. That kind of perplexed us into that, you know, season of invincibility. And we've also, and I haven't forgot about this, going into the later years, we've had the absolute pleasure of going over to the Theatre of Dreams and see Manchester United in dreamland, shall we say, by putting 8 goals past Arsenal. And also, coincidentally, putting 6 goals past Arsenal. You know, we've lost 8-2 and 6-1 at Old Trafford under Arsene Wenger. So, you know, cheers to that, Manchester United fans. I will not forget that, you know, in a hurry. That was in 2012, and we lost 6-1 like way back in like 2001, 2002. So, you know, we've had the great moments at Old Trafford, particularly in the early years, and then we've had the less fortunate moments, you know, as Manchester United went on to basically win everything you could possibly win at club level, and Arsenal went from being a great team to, how should we say, dog shit. You know, it's happened, like, you know, it was at a level playing field, Arsenal, Manchester United. You might even say that Arsenal at one period were better than Manchester United, and then Arsenal have rapidly declined, and Manchester United have kind of, under Sir Alex Ferguson, have kind of gone on to be a absolute staple. And like, since Sir Alex Ferguson has departed, Manchester United have fallen down, but they are still in a better position than Arsenal at this current stage. So, you know, the fact that this is Arsene Wenger's last game at Old Trafford, that is a huge moment in itself, and it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of reception he gets from the Manchester United fans, who would have to say that Arsene Wenger contributed so much to the early years of Manchester United's dominance because of how the great Arsenal teams were. They really pushed Manchester United further to that ultimate glory, and I think many football people would agree with that statement, that Arsene Wenger definitely contributed to the success of Manchester United. So that is kind of the first kind of sentimental value. The second sentimental value is the fact that it's Arsene Wenger against Jose Mourinho for the final time, and these are two managers that absolutely hate each other. You could give me all of the bullshit and all of the lies and all of the hostility saying that Jose Mourinho respects Arsene Wenger and Arsene Wenger respects Jose Mourinho, and there probably is a level of respect between the two managers. But it's clear to see that they don't like each other. Looking at what's happened over the last 20 years, they do not like each other whatsoever. And the reason why they don't like each other is because of the fact of what happened when Jose Mourinho came to the Premier League, and since Arsene Wenger has announced that he's leaving Arsenal, or coincidentally has been sacked from Arsenal, Jose Mourinho has said that he's always respected him and he counts him as a friend. And Arsene Wenger was asked the question by the journalist, do you see Jose Mourinho as a friend? And Arsene Wenger's response was, well, friend's a little bit of a strong word. So they might be all lovey and being quite nice and sweet to each other. And coincidentally, since Jose Mourinho has come to Manchester United, the fierce rivalry and negative comments that were sparred between the two managers has sort of mellowed out in recent years. But certainly in Jose Mourinho's Chelsea days, it was really at the forefront. And the reason why it is because when Jose Mourinho came to England, Arsene Wenger was the big manager. He was the manager whose name was up in lights. He had just won a Premier League title and, done a season unbeaten, to finish a Premier League campaign with not a single defeat. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody said that Arsenal are the best team in the world and they're going to, dominate, and they're going to, start a dynasty of, winning countless trophies after trophies after trophies. And he was at the highest level. He was higher than Sir Alex Ferguson. That Arsenal invincible team of 2003-2004 put Arsene Wenger on the map, and he was untouchable at that moment. And Jose Mourinho came into Chelsea alongside Roman Abramovich, who wanted to have a slice of the ultimate glory. And Jose Mourinho wanted to get his name up in lights. It was pure jealousy because he'd seen a foreign manager come in and not just taking a club to ultimate glory, but also the way that he revolutionised English football. And I think Jose Mourinho has always wanted to have that kind of mainstay, and have his standpoint coming into the Premier League. And when he came to Chelsea, he won back-to-back Premier League titles. He kind of took Arsene Wenger down the pedestal, and you could also say was a influence in the beginning of Arsenal's downfall. And I know we had to pay the stadium, and the move from Highbury to the Emirates is a huge factor to the start of Arsene Wenger's second half of his Arsenal career, and that is a second half of mediocrity, not many trophies, not many titles, and just a downfall spiralling really. And you could say that Roman Abramovich, Jose Mourinho was certainly they were to do with that. So you've got that, hidden incentive, and you've also got the fact of that in recent times, Jose Mourinho has called Arsene Wenger a specialist in failure. Arsene Wenger says that Jose Mourinho plays boring football. Jose Mourinho has said that boring is 10 years without a title. So there's been constant bitchiness between the two managers, and this is the last time that these two managers will go toe to toe. And then obviously you've got Alexis Sanchez, who left Arsenal because he felt that the team wasn't, very, competitive, and they weren't, competing for the top prizes, and he thought he was better than Arsenal, really, and he thought he was too good to play for Arsenal, which, yeah, he probably was. Last season, he got to a level where, Sanchez could win you a game on his own, and I'm not saying that he's as good as, the Thierry Henry's, Cristiano Ronaldo's, but on his day, he got to a level where he could, influence and change the game all by himself, and that in itself will make you a world-class player. And he did stuff at Arsenal which we hadn't seen since the Thierry Henry's, since the Bergkamps, your Lundbergs, your Perez's. Alexis Sanchez was a breath of fresh air. Since that Robin van Persie season, which he scored 30 goals, we'd never seen anything like it. And obviously, as Arsenal were falling further down the ladder, he obviously wanted to go, and he went to Manchester United despite being heavily linked with Manchester City. And what a mistake that was, because he's at the absolute shadow of a player that he was at Arsenal. You know, what the times I've seen him at Manchester United, he's been absolutely woeful. You know, he's had his, you know, moments of, you know, greatness, you know, particularly what he did in the FA Cup semi-final to knock Tottenham out of the FA Cup and out of the semi-final for the 8th consecutive, you know, season. You know, thank you very much, Alexis Sanchez, for doing that. You know, credit to you. Just like with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain scoring the goal to deny Manchester City an invincible season. So once again, thanks for that, buddy. Really appreciate it. What a genius Arsene Wenger is to sell your players off to the Manchester clubs to stop, you know, and maintain Arsenal's records. You know, absolutely, you know, what a genius man he is. But, you know, he's going to be up for this. Manchester United are going to be up for this, particularly as they know that this is the last time that Arsene Wenger will be managing Arsenal at Old Trafford, and particularly Alexis Sanchez will want to prove that, you know, it was worth him leaving Arsenal and going over to Manchester United. You know, they're going to be up for this surely, and I'm pretty sure Jose Mourinho is going to field his strongest team possible. The question you now are posed is, what team does Arsene Wenger put out? Because you've got a real, you know, it's a catch-22. You've got a real double-edged sword here, because you've got the game away at Atletico, and the only way that you're going to get a goal, and we need a goal, because obviously we conceded the away goal, even though we absolutely battered Atletico Madrid, and I'm still annoyed about that, but we need to go to Atletico Madrid and score, and you know, they've only conceded like 4 goals all season, and this is nothing to do with the Manchester United game, but to do that we need to have our strongest team, you know, 110% fit. You know, everybody's got to be on full throttle really. But the Manchester United Arsenal game, even though we've got like 3-4 days to prepare for it, you know, that is a very draining and mentally draining game. So does Arsene Wenger go with his strongest side so he can get sentimental value and finish, you know, and his final visit at Old Trafford, you know, concludes with him getting a win? Or does he field a almost second team with the fear that he could get absolutely battered, but it doesn't really matter because we want to put all our eggs into the Europa League basket? That's a question that I can't answer. I don't know what he's going to do, and I don't really know what I would prefer. Would I prefer, you know, to put out a second team against Manchester United and just accept that we're probably going to get absolutely ripped apart, but we can then put our sole focus onto the Europa League semi-final second leg? Or do we go with our strongest team and just hope that they can get themselves after that 90 minutes? Because we still might get battered either way. But if he does field out his strongest team, it will give us a couple of days to get back to full fitness, get back to full throttle, get some training under our belts, and go over to Madrid with the hope that we can snatch a goal to get ourselves into the Europa League final. It's only, you know, a question that a man who's on £8 million a year can answer, because I don't know. I don't know what's better. I don't know what's worse. So it's one of those really... It's a difficult one. You know, obviously, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is going to play because he's cup tied, so we know that for a fact. But does Ozil play? Does Ramsey play? Does Welbeck play? You know, does Xhaka play? Obviously, you're going to probably play, you know, Mustafi and Koscielny, Bellerin, Monreal. Like the back four, and probably Petr Cech will be in goal. But in midfield, do you go with like Maitland-Niles, or do you go with Alex Iwobi? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what one I would prefer really. I think it'll be just I'll see the team sheet and then make my mind up at that, you know, particular moment. So do I think we're going to win the game? I don't know. I mean, you know, last season when the pressure was basically off us and it looked like we were not going to get anywhere near Champions League football, Manchester United came over to the Emirates and we beat them 2-0. Obviously, earlier in the season we lost 3-1 to them, but that game that we last played against Manchester United was very similar to the Atletico game where we battered Manchester United just like we battered Atletico for 90 minutes, you know, registering 31 shots on target, but our defensive frailties made us concede, you know, 2 early goals, you know, in December. And what a game that was. That has still been, I think that was the game of the season, you know, Arsenal against Manchester United in December, because like it was just absolutely amazing. David De Gea was just unstoppable that day really. But, you know, we had 31 shots, we battered them, we couldn't do anything more, but we couldn't find the back of the net, and conceding 2 goals against Manchester United early on already puts you at a major disadvantage, because Jose Mourinho teams frankly do not concede goals once they're in particularly winning positions. So it's a chance for redemption. It's a chance for Arsene Wenger to finish his, you know, Arsenal career with a win over Jose Mourinho and, you know, get a win at Old Trafford, which I think our last win at Old Trafford was in the FA Cup. I think it was the FA Cup quarter-final that we played in 2015, because I remember in 2016 when we played Louis van Gaal's kind of Manchester United side, and that was a game that we had to win to keep our title charge running. This was the year when Leicester City won the title, and we bottled it, and it was effectively that day, coincidentally we dropped points to Tottenham and Swansea, but that game against Manchester United effectively put us out of the title race, really, in a season where we really should have won the title race. And in the 2016-17 season, we drew 1-1, and that was a game which was the reverse. Manchester United battered us from minute 1 to minute 90. They got the goal that they deserved, and then in the dying moments, Olivier Giroud came on, and from a lovely cross that came from Oxlade-Chamberlain, it went over to Olivier Giroud, who got the goal and gave us a point which, frankly, we didn't deserve. We didn't deserve anything out of the game. It was just very fortunate that we got ourselves something out of that game. So I don't know. I don't know what is going to happen. I don't know what the prediction is going to be. I don't know whether we're going to, win, draw, lose. I don't know if we're going to put a second team out because of the, Europa League match. But it is a huge game for sentimental value. I don't want Alexis Sanchez to score, and obviously I don't want to lose to Manchester United or Jose Mourinho, particularly in Arsene Wenger's final encounter. But all of these questions are going to be answered over the 90 minutes, and we're going to get a better idea when the team sheet comes in about what kind of, what road is Arsene Wenger going to go down. Is he going to go with the full strength side, or is he going to go with the second team? And we just see what happens, really. Now, there may be a Analysing Arsenal match review of me looking at my thoughts and feelings to the game at Old Trafford as Manchester United face Arsenal. The problem with that is that I'm going out in the morning with my friends, and we are going to go back to watch the game. We're planning to go back to watch the game, so we're either going to watch it around the mate's house or go down the pub. But if they don't fancy watching the game, then I'll come back to my setup and watch the game. And if I'm back here at watching the game at my setup, then I'll do a match review. So you may get a match review tomorrow. If you don't get a match review tomorrow, then don't worry. I'll address it in either the game that we play against Atletico on Thursday night, or I'll probably address it in the game that we play against Burnley in Arsene Wenger's final game at the Emirates. So let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. Give me your predictions on Twitter as well at DJBagpuss998, and maybe I'll rejoin you tomorrow for Analysing Arsenal, and if I don't, then I'll rejoin you next for Analysing Arsenal on Thursday as we face Atletico Madrid. So I really hope you've enjoyed this match preview. Please make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're only around here, check out my great content as well, and hopefully Arsene Wenger can finish, and his final visit to Old Trafford against Jose Mourinho for the very last time can end in an Arsenal victory, and hopefully an emphatic Arsenal victory. But we shall see on to the game tomorrow. Take care, and I shall see you all later.